Hey everybody, it's Yvette Kelly Fields. I am back. I am your president and CEO of Yvette Kelly Fields Associates, and I am the person who is the founder of the nonprofit Boss Academy and have created this show, this podcast called A Diary of a Nonprofit Boss, also nonprofit CEO. And I wanted to take time to reflect on something that I wrote about my book. I talk about how I embraced executive coaching during a very turbulent 2017. And when you get into my book, I open up talking about all the good things that happened and all the crazy, crazy bad things that happened. Uh, but I talk about how having a coach helped me to reframe things that I felt like were insurmountable situations that I felt like I was drowning in, and I didn't see a way forward. And for a lot of people, when you don't see a way forward, you just give up. You know, you've exhausted all your resources. Anybody you thought they could help you, you've talked to everybody or everybody that you know to talk to, um, and still find yourself coming up short. It's not uncommon with nonprofit executive directors to find themselves working to try to resolve issues or problems and find themselves hitting all kind of walls and looking for somebody to step in and say, okay, you can do this, you can do that, or offer guidance, open a door, and they don't often get it. Uh, you just don't get it. So I talk about how having a coach changed that for me because unlike, your mentors and, sponsors, one, you have to have mentors and sponsors who are willing to put their neck out or put their reputation on the line in some cases to help you advance or to move a block out your way. A lot of mentors and sponsors will go and support you as long as nothing you do could cause something to happen, could jeopardize their standing. There's not a lot of people that's going to put themselves out there for something that you're trying to do or because you've ran into an issue or a problem with somebody else. And they realize that they have the power, the connections and relationships to probably move the block that's in your way. But sometimes they might feel like I only have one or two times I can use it. And, as much as they might like you, they may not use it for you. That's just the truth. And to be truly fair, there are going to be times when you're going to be in a position of power and you might think to yourself, like, I can't use this one. I like you a lot, but I can't. If I go to bat for you, this may not go well. And not only will you be out, but I'll be out too. You may not like it. You may wish people were better, but this is just the truth about how things can happen. A coach isn't going they're not going to call up somebody and say, hey, get out of, no one's going to call anybody up and say, hey, get out of Yvette's way. Nobody came in for me to tell other folk, hey, back off. No one did that. What the coach did was showed me how to navigate difficult personalities, navigate situations that created blocks to my progress. And the bigger thing, it taught me how to get out of my own way. I 100% was a hindrance to my own development because I came into the role with very strong ideas of how the role should work, and it worked until it didn't. And when it wasn't working anymore, that's when I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And a coach can help you see, like, here's your strengths, here are your weaknesses, and let's rethink about how you approach this. And instead of going at it this way, let's go at it that way. Because they bring with them their experience. So in this photo right here, this is 2018, almost the end of 2018. And I right here, I'm in the process of actually interviewing to take on a new role at a university. And I wanted to make sure that I left the center that I was the ED of in a very good place. You see the smile on my face. I had survived the year. I had probably been in coaching at this point I'll say less than 6 months, maybe 3 or 4 months, because I 2017. Well, I take that back. I've probably been coaching for a little bit over 6 months. Now that I think about it, for a little bit over 6 months, I have been in coaching. Because I want to say got into coaching. Found looking for my coach in 2017 and came into 2018, starting to sort some things, find my way forward. And then I would get to the end of 2018 and, just look back like, thank God I made it. And that's about where I'm heading to. So at this point, I've been in coaching for a while, and my professional life just shifted so well. And a situation that I speak about in the book was that while instead of focusing on things I had no control over, which is what I was just spending inordinate amounts of time doing, I focused on something that I did have control over. And that was a very special project to me, that I wanted to get this food pantry open. So you see here, I was featured in a newspaper. It says West Dayton needs more healthy food, how one group plans to help. And this is a food pantry that we had worked to make be like um, a grocery store. It was my goal was to move from having a food pantry that felt like a food pantry. You go in these boxes and, you know, uh, you just kind of grab a few things off the shelf. It felt very disorganized, and it felt kind of more warehousey, kind of like, hey, come back in this little kind of closet-like space and grab some stuff off the shelf, versus feeling like a shopping experience. So we recreated a space, had partners like Habitat for Humanity. We had a number of churches, people that came in and volunteered to paint. We had a guy that in the neighborhood who came in and did the floors for us. Uh, we had a office for our food pantry manager. We had carts. We had a place for people to pack their food. It was a really beautiful thing to be able to work on, and I was able to focus on that once I started to become much more uh, organized around my work and recognizing where to put focus. A lot of times when you are working in a space that's new, you can be all over the place. And that's when you will get situations happening to you where you are having difficulty finding your way forward because you're legitimately all over the place. I'm trying to deal with staff. I'm trying to raise money. I'm trying to deal with situations with funding partners. And I'm trying to, make sure the board feels engaged and all these things. Versus like, okay, what is the focus for this season? I want to deal with this situation because this is a serious situation over here. However, I've done all the things I can do. I want to let this kind of marinate. I can't do one more thing about that. I'm not going to let myself go down rabbit holes with people. I'm not going to let myself get caught up in crazy conversations back and forth. I'm going to do the part I know how to do, and then I'm just going to shift over here and work on this other piece. That's what part of what coaching taught me. So one of the first things my coach did when I first came into this, when I first started coaching, she said, let's sit down and put together an operational plan, and let's look at how you can better use your staff. Because one of the things that kind of led me down the hole that I was in was at that time, I knew how to delegate and I knew how to trust people to do their work. But when things got kind of sticky, and this was a sticky situation, I had allowed myself to take on too much of it. And so the coach was like, we need to help you get unstuck around that. So putting together an operational plan where we laid out what are the key things that we need to get accomplished over the next quarter, next 6 months, next year, helped me to say, okay, I'm going to focus on this. And then she showed me, like, if you hit a wall here, you got to focus on here and you hit this wall, then we're going to pivot. We're not going to keep hammering at something that we need to give that a moment because there's things over there we can't do anything about, but we can do something about this. So when I decided to let go fighting for this other thing, and trying to rally people around something that clearly was not going my direction. When I decided to let that go and instead focus on this food pantry where I had natural partners and natural pathway to success, then the other side took care of itself. I literally just learned how to shift energy and not feel like if I can't make this one thing happen, all is lost. And focused on situations that you have absolutely no control over. And you will start to spiral because everywhere you look, when it comes to that situation, you can't move forward. Take your eyes off of the situation where you can't move forward and say, okay, I can't move forward here, but I can move forward there. And you might think to yourself, well, this is all serious right now. I need to put all my energy. If this thing don't happen, then the rest of it doesn't matter. That's not true. It is not true. If you have a nonprofit situation and you're like, I can't seem to get any money in the door, stop and stop beating your head against the wall about the money and sit down and say, what can I do? Maybe money's not my focus right now. Let me see if I need to go get a relationship. Maybe it's time to get a line of credit. Let me think about the strategic way about going about that. And what exactly do I need the line of credit for? How do I want to use it? You may have a situation where I got a staff member that I need to desperately let go, but there are mitigating circumstances that I just cannot cut them loose. Uh, Perhaps they're tied to some funding, they're tied to another situation, and cutting them could backfire on me. So what do I do with that staff member? Instead of feeling frustrated and losing your mind and going around in the rest of the office about how much you can't stand them and you wish they'd go away and all that stuff, just take a step back and say, okay, I can start to think about how I manage my team in general and how I can start to hold people to a certain standard. And I will just continue to operate at a professional level. I'll minimize what they can do damage with. I will run interference to make sure that they don't get access to other things. And then I will simply be patient and wait them out. And in the meantime, I'm going to go focus on this. I found myself just having to do those type of things based on the coaching the guidance that my coach was giving me. It made a dramatic difference. And I found that suddenly the staff member that just was so difficult on their own found something else and dropped off just on their own. The funder situation that was just draining me and I just couldn't find a way forward on its own, it shifted. It shifted because I stopped focusing on that. And it took a coach to help me to do that. And that's how I got to this moment, standing here in front of the food pantry. I don't think we had the grand opening yet, but I remember feeling just an immense sense of pride that I was like, I've gotten through the year. Financially, we're good. Staff-wise, we're good. The issues and problems that started towards the end of 2017, about mid-2017, and just seemed to be dragging me down, uh, coming in 2018, were all dealt with. They were all water under the bridge. They were behind me. And I just remember having an immense sense of gratitude. But it also would be the beginning of my coaching, of learning how to engage coaches at every level. Because at this point, I had started changing eating habits. I'm still a little bit chunky here, but I had stopped like eating the after school meal that the kids, like if there was a leftover meal, I eat one of those. I stopped going to the food pantry to grab snacks. It's easy when there's a shelf full of free food around you. And so, some of the food is really great. You get all kind of contributions of food. And it's just easy to go back there and grab something off the shelf. The food pantry manager will be like, hey, do you want something? Super easy. We had seniors who had lunch. They'd have all kind of meals. I mean, it was just not hard to eat 3 or 4 times a day. There was healthy food, but I often didn't choose the healthy food. I chose the snack stuff, the fried stuff. And in this picture, I'm starting on that journey of like, hey, we're not eating all the other stuff anymore. Because my first goal was to get my blood pressure back in the beautiful state it had once been, because I was known for having great blood pressure. And I could say today, 2026, I am back to having, like, my blood pressure is so amazing. Like, it is incredible. Since this picture, I've lost like 30 pounds. Um, my stamina's up, so many things. And I can't tell you that I'm under any less, that I can't tell you that the things that I'm being asked to do, required to do, are any less demanding. The only thing that has really shifted is my mindset. I still have to deal with people. I still have situations that I have found myself in, even in my current role, where I've had to navigate around people. And but prior to the coaching, I would have wrecked some things because I would have said some stuff, made some major slips. I'm just so much smarter now. So much smarter. But this young lady, this me here in November 2018, she was on the path. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her accomplishment. I'm proud that she took the knowledge that she was given and started at that time, that year, to apply it. Because here I am, 2026, 8 years later, and just so much further ahead because that was the year I made a decision I was going to be a coach. Um, and that smile has continued on. I have the most beautiful smile. You'll see that in the next video. So yeah, just wanted to talk about this moment in time, about how it's starting to make strides in my life, and how just simply shifting my focus from feeling like the things I was fighting for and I just couldn't get ahead. I shifted my focus and all of a sudden I could just run and make all the good things happen. That's just what was happening to me for me. All the good things were happening.